Hi everyone. Uh, Today I'm doing pretty good. I got out of the house and kind of went and did some adulting. so I drank couple cups of coffee today, and I got black silk, which is pretty strong. Tastes really good too. But I just want to give a shout out to Home Slice. Thank you for your comment. It was very positive, and that's what I'm looking for. Is just positive reactions. Again, this is just my experience. Um, they tell me that it's incriminating and all this other stuff when all the information I'm putting out is what they're putting me through and public information that I have gotten off the internet. So whatever's on top of the iceberg, I'm allowed to look at and share, and I'm not looking underneath the iceberg. So it's what it is. So I want to start out with situations from the very beginning that I started experiencing this. Um, so when it started, I was at work, and they were commenting on the job I was doing, saying that it was a good job and all this stuff. And I thought it was people behind me. And I'd constantly look behind me like, what's going on? Who is that? And it started making me question, and that's not what you want to do. Don't ever question yourself. Just pay attention, and listen for that replay. Um, but they were making me feel like I was schizophrenic. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor, I mean, he treated me as I was schizophrenic, but he kept telling me, this isn't schizophrenia. The things that they're talking about, people don't hear that kind of stuff. So I started looking up like schizophrenic simulations and stuff, and it was nothing like it. And I'm sure anybody that would look it up can say the same thing, that it's not. I don't know about you guys, but I hear conversations, and they're not always with me. And so I'm playing some relaxing music just to kind of fill that background noise. I've got people that live in the house, and so I, just trying to keep the focus. So when it first started, and I realized that this wasn't schizophrenia, I started talking to them, and they realized that I could hear them. They're like, "He can hear me? How is that?" We're speaking so far in his subconscious, we don't understand how he can hear us. So I started asking questions, and I started trying to see who they were. And because of my belief systems, they started going with conspiracies and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know how it is with you. I'm pretty sure they probably act like they're police the whole time with a lot of people, trying to say you're incriminating yourself by doing this or that or this or that. I've even done something like, dropped a fork on the ground and been like, "Oh, I dropped a fork on the ground. You gonna incriminate me for that?" And they're like, "Yes, we will. Yes, we are." And it's just like, what? Really? Okay. So it's all a state of mind. It really is. So if you're thinking in a negative way, you're gonna get a negative feedback, and that's what they're looking for. So always stay positive, think positive, uh, pretty much just be yourself, and just try to do those uplifting things. So first it was when I started asking, they started talking like they were in some kind of religion where there's four corners, and they called it dark magic. So they were like accessing my brain because of a third eye. They wanted to borrow my third eye or something like that. Um, when I don't believe that mind's open, we eat too much bad food, and the food that is given to us shrinks and calcifies it. And that's your pineal gland. And so I don't believe that that's even a factor. I think it's just unique to me. So and then it went from that dark magic to Freemason. Because I live in a town where there's a lot of like Freemason type symbols and stuff like that. We battled about that for a while, and then it went to aliens, claiming that they were reptilian, shapeshifter type aliens and Mesopotamians. I was looking up Sanscripts and Egyptian stuff, and so they played into that. And I could literally watch a movie, and they think it's me talking. And I do believe that this is the algorithm chatbots trying to find triggers. And when the people come into the office, the robot, the AI, will have a bunch of triggers for them. And then so they sit there and they use these triggers on you, and then they rate you, and it's called a weigh, how it weighs on you. Trigger words, I guess, are scaled with weight. I don't know exactly how that works, but I read one of the patents about the trigger words, and that's what it was stating. So they also went to, I was looking up nanotechnology and how it helps people. One of my relatives has cancer, and I was trying to figure out a way to help them, and I saw nanotechnology and how they can, kill cancer cells and all that kind of stuff with nanotechnology. And then for some reason I thought maybe I've got bots in my system, maybe that's how they're accessing my brain. But then they started playing on that, telling me uh, to drink the water and eat the food and all this stuff. So I started filtering my water and all that kind of stuff. And in the beginning, you're gonna be paranoid because you don't know where this is coming from. And don't doubt yourself. Don't feel bad about it. Everybody's gonna go through it. Just kind of try to find a way to where it's positive for you. And I know it's not a positive state of mind. Hearing your subconscious is a very eerie thing, and when you hear your own judgment, it's mind-boggling, and it starts making you question yourself. So just know who you are, and just be yourself, and don't worry about what they're saying, because all they're trying to do is bring you down, trying to get you into a state where you can be triggered. So know your triggers, know what makes your heart go thump thump. You know what I mean? So because that's what they're looking at. It's like a wellness app, and they follow your heart rate. And right now, I drank so much coffee that there's no way that they're gonna be able to trigger me, because everything seems like it bothers me, and really it doesn't. I know I'm very rude to them, and apparently I got through the whole system. This is what they say, and this could just be a state of mind as well. I went through the whole system, and they had to start over on me. And literally, I was hearing the same exact stuff that I was in the very beginning. And so I actually believed that they were starting over. But then I realized that they were using concepts that they were just using the other day. So they almost like overlapped stuff, trying to get different triggers, trying to get confessions that aren't true. I use situations in my head, and I'll make them up, and then I'll attach like a heart thump to it, and then so they believe it's true, and I'll picture something in my mind, and all of a sudden you'll know it'll start being a trigger. They'll start taking this situation and replaying it and replaying it and replaying it, trying to get you even more worked up. And it's really hard not to be worked up in this kind of a situation. So just know, try to stay calm, and just get through it day by day. Try to do everything you can, do your research, um, eat good, drink clean water. I know that's hard too. I believe that water should be a human right, and nobody should have to pay for it and everything. But I do understand that people do work and in like water filtration systems and all that kind of stuff as a job. And I almost went into that actually, but instead I went into a different field. Um, so uh, I'm gonna talk about a couple things here. Do you hear a repeat? Do you hear what you're thinking in a sentence, or do they replay things on you, or do you all of a sudden get a picture in your mind, and then all of a sudden you get this feeling like, why do I feel weird right now? That's one of the things that you got to watch for. And I hear a ringing noise in my ear, and then my vision starts to either focus or unfocus, and that's when I know they're paying attention. So they're literally dialing in so they can either trigger or they can listen. They listen to me a lot because I do a lot of research and I've got a lot of information that they don't want me to have. And they literally are threatening my life, saying that I'm going to go to prison for life, or they're going to incriminate me for giving out information when all this information is public. They threaten my life, threaten my family's life. And that also, like I said, that I could also be a state of mind as well. So you never know. But the things that they say are not triggers. These are personal opinions. And these opinions are not mine. These are coming from somewhere else. So I know that that's the neural programmers, what they call themselves, are neural programmers. And this is where the person that uses the trigger, and I call them the trigger man, and they don't like it. I call it triggerment. It's trigger treatment, triggerment. So I call the one that triggers all the time triggerment. I'm like, gosh, triggerment, don't you ever stop? And I hate that word. I hate when you call me triggerment. But cell phones, they're always telling me to keep my cell phone on me. That's literally a voluntary chip that you keep inside your pocket, and it's addictive, and it does algorithms, and it sees what you're interested in, listens to your words, what you're texting, all that kind of stuff. So it kind of plays into it, I believe. And so, and satellites, I mean, they've got to be sending it down from a satellite, because there's no way that, you know, they're invisible and on the other side of the wall or in your house. It's impossible, you know. And so they're always saying, oh, we're going to be there in an hour or something like that, and we're going to pick you up. And it's just like, okay, well, you've said that how many times? I don't believe it, you know. And even if it does happen, I hope the people watching would be able to like try to back me up or something. And if not, then I can do it with the information that I have and the knowledge that I have. I would just be asked to hook me up to a monitor, and I will show them with pictures and memories. um, I already talked about algorithm. That just kind of gets your attention pretty much with the trigger words, and they'll use trigger phrases. um, Let me talk about trigger phrases. For me, single word triggers would be like Juice World, right? Because I used to listen to Juice World all the time, and so they use the music and they'll sit there and sing the song before it even plays, and this makes it a recognized voice in your head, and so your subconscious will stop listening to it and just start doing the commands on its own. And this is not what you want. Pay attention and never put your guard down, because that's when they'll trigger you. um, Phrases, for me, it's you are the, and then they want me to finish it. And it depends on what mood I'm in on how it's finished, if I don't try to change the words. But if I try to change the words, I can change it to anything. I can be like, you are the greatest person in the world, or smartest person in the program, or whatever, and they feed off of this. And with the AI bots, it's really easy to trick them, and they believe everything that comes with a heartbeat. So just remember that. Let's see. Oh yeah, he's so smart, and that's just to get my attention. And I try not to let that bother me. But it's just, you know, irritating. They tell me quit being condescending and quit changing our words. If you do that, we'll take you off the roster or the list. I call it a list, so they say list. And so when that happens, I don't believe it, you know, because all they're trying to do is get me to lower my guard so they can continue to program me to the point where they can make it seem like I'm shut off, but I'm not. You know, all they have to do is trigger me with that trusted voice. And in the beginning, it was my family's voices. I believe that maybe whoever the programmers are, they use their voice to uh, use it on the computer. You know what I mean? Like the AI is in their voice. So when they come in to trigger you, it's the same voice. And they always try to get me to sing and say certain words, and I believe that's for word manipulation. If they get every tone of your voice, and if you say certain words, they will be able to manipulate your voice and incriminate you in a way that you can't even believe. They could be like, "Oh, this is a confession," and it's really not a confession. It's just them manipulating your voice, and then they'll use your voice to trigger you, so it's a trusted voice because you know your own voice. It's your voice, and so when they use your voice to trigger, your mind doesn't even know. It just automatically follows. So, and another one is my wife's name is, and then I'll have to finish it. And then they use my other family members as well. The syllables. Pay attention to how many syllables are in the trigger. If there's a syllable, or if there's 3 syllables, find a 3-syllable word and change it that way. If you use a 2-syllable word, then they have 1 syllable to be able to manipulate. So if anything, add syllables versus no syllables. Um, like I said, I listen to different types of music. So I use rhymes. If I sound like, or if it sounds like they're saying something, I'll say something that sounds similar to it, and it works every time. So use a positive word. Try not to use negative words. That's what I'm trying to work on now, is keeping it completely positive, but with the way that I treat them, they demand respect when this is not respect. It's disrespectful for them to be doing this to us, and so they don't deserve the respect that they're asking for or they're demanding. I believe that you give respect to get respect, and so when they don't respect us by invading us without consent, that is very disrespectful, and they don't deserve the respect that they're asking for. Situations they try to say I'm incriminated. I've got my medical marijuana card, so every time that I smoke, they tell me, "Oh, you're going to be incriminated." It's incrimination on a federal level and all this other stuff, and so they try to use that. And it doesn't bother me. I still do it. I actually laugh in their face when they say it. Let's see, or smoking pot in McDonald's parking lot. When did I do that? I don't even eat fast food. I never eat McDonald's. So that was just kind of like, what? And I believe that they use that one because everybody eats McDonald's, So if they say that to somebody that smokes pot, then they most likely have smoked pot in the McDonald's parking lot for as much McDonald's as everybody eats. And so it didn't work on me. And I didn't understand why they were doing that. But I do now, Get proof. What I started doing is writing down every word that I hear and then analyzing it afterwards and then highlighting the interaction. And that's the stuff in between the triggers. Personal opinions, unique words that you don't hear all the time. Because if they're not using triggers, then that's interaction. So write down every single word. Sometimes I'll take like an hour out of the day and just write everything down. And I've got pages of it. And if anybody wants to hear it, I can show you situations where they're threatening me and my family with these simulations. They always, I don't know about you, but they're always bringing authority figures into the situation. I don't know if that's a tactic they use with everybody, but that's what they use for me. They'll say, who is this guy? Where does he live? What's his name? What's his YouTube name and all this stuff? And it'll be a low voice